Hello. In addition to the political view and this very moving personal account, I would like to give a legal perspective to this afternoon. In Estonia, usually when there's something lacking, when something is wrong, we blame the fact that we are small, we blame our geopolitical situation, or we blame our Prime Minister, Kaja Kallas. I have an extract here from the European Union Functioning Treaty, and here you can see how the responsibilities are divided between the member states. Today we speak about funding the treatment of rare diseases. So you see here that the responsibilities of the member states include the management of health services and medical care and the allocation of the resources assigned to them. So we cannot really blame the European Union here. They haven't done anything wrong. Today, I would like to focus on paragraph 41, subsection 8 of the Health Insurance Act. I'm sure you know this. This is the paragraph that regulates the cases in which the health insurance fund can reimburse a medicine. You have the list of important legal acts here. So paragraph 28 of our constitution, everyone has the right to be to the protection of health, and also the Health Insurance Act. We cannot escape the fact that when the Health Insurance Fund gets an application to exceptionally finance a medicine, then this decision has to be taken by the rules of discretion. There have to be specific criteria. This is what Vladimir was speaking about. He didn't understand why his son, Alexander, didn't receive the medicine. And we also have to have a regulated procedure. Without the regulated proceedings, we are in a dark room where things might go well, but might not go well. When we speak about the right of discretion, then I would like to give you a couple of examples where this hasn't been implemented correctly. I forgot to say in my introduction. So I had a contact with this topic through the fact that we are the legal advisor of the University of Tartu Hospital Children's Foundation. We have had many cases in the framework of this cooperation where the problems arise when the health insurance fund doesn't want to reimburse a medicine. Then we have helped the Children's Foundation. Sometimes we have succeeded, sometimes not. And this is how things are. So what are the main mistakes? We can see that if there are relevant reasons, then the health insurance fund might carry the cost of the price of medical services or medicines. We had one dispute where the health insurance fund said that there was a centralized marketing authorization in the European Union, and the health insurance fund said that the long-term benefit is unclear in the case of this medicine, so they decided not to fund it, although the European Medicine Agency had given its market authorization. It was right after the COVID pandemic, and this seemed especially cynical because we know that COVID vaccines were, or the marketing authorizations for COVID vaccines were issued without any clinical proof. It doesn't mean that they did anything wrong during the COVID time, but it means that when it's a time-critical matter, we have to make quick decisions. Another important dispute is the same paragraph 41, subsection 8 of the health insurance fund. Here we speak about medical devices or medicines that are necessary for the outpatient treatment of a person. The health insurance fund said that this treatment wasn't meant for outpatient treatment because this medicine was meant to be administered only in an inpatient setting. So we started to interpret this paragraph for this purpose. This is the only thing that lawyers can do. They can interpret law as necessary. But generally, we do give the right advice. So we started to analyze what it means when the law prescribes medicine necessary for outpatient care. Then we started to analyze the word necessary, and we found that the fact that something is necessary for treatment doesn't mean that it has to be administered in an outpatient setting, but the word necessary in the grammatical sense mean that this is needed for something. And we found that necessary for outpatient treatment means that the administration for the medicine should mean that a person could carry on with the treatment in the outpatient setting. It doesn't mean that they have to stay in hospital. And also the paragraph 28 of the Constitution also has to be taken into account here. So this is about the obligation of the state. Then we had a look at the phrasings in different paragraphs in the Health Insurance Act, and we found that the term usable is often used in this act, but in our case, the word was necessary, not usable. So this was related to the administering of the medicine. In one case, they used the word usable. In the other case, the word necessary. So we found that such a restriction is not justified if this leads to a situation where the medicine is not reimbursed. But now I would like to continue on a more serious note, and I would like to discuss the question whether the Health Insurance Act and subsection 8 of paragraph 41, so this restriction that we have there that doesn't allow us to make many necessary decisions, is this constitutional? And the restriction that I am talking about is that we can only exceptionally fund medicines that don't have marketing authorization. This basically leaves out medicines that have the central market authorization in the European Union. In Estonia, we might not have this medicine on the list of reimbursed drugs because, sometimes it's just not beneficial for a big company to have this drug here in Estonia. We are a small country. Now we find ourselves in a situation where the health insurance fund doesn't fund a medicine because it wasn't on our list, but it still had the central marketing authorization. We think that this is not constitutional because this creates inequality. Why is it possible to reimburse one medicine but not the other? I do understand the government. I do understand the point of this phrasing because this is cost effective. It cuts costs. But I think that we can't narrow this restriction too much based on being cost effective. Recently, I've been dealing with the topic of closing small schools, and I've often heard the argument, this is an expensive thing for the local government. But expensive compared to what? I think we can always set priorities when we make our budget. I don't think that we should direct our entire state budget to treat rare diseases. But in Estonia, we have 7 to 8% of our GDP to healthcare. I think it's a bigger amount in other European countries. So the fact that this paragraph might be unconstitutional is there, and we have been talking about it for many years to no avail. But there's also good news, or maybe not so good to others, but in May last year, the Tallinn Circuit Court ruled that the main question in dispute is whether the paragraph in the Constitution is in accordance to the paragraph in the health insurance that stipulates that the financed medicines should be on the list of reimbursed medicine. It might be that at some point the court rules that this paragraph in the Health Insurance Act is unconstitutional. When we have medicines that have the central marketing authorizations, but they are not reimbursed because of that, then this goes against the foundations of the European Union, because this because the European Union stipulates that we should have a free movement of goods and services. When we here in Estonia hinder the movement or the sales of a drug that is used and authorized in the European Union, then I'm not quite sure when this is foundational. I was happy to hear from the minister that there are some drafts in the parliament right now, and they are going to amend the Health Insurance Act. I do hope that they will amend paragraph 41, subsection 8 of the Health Insurance Act. because this does not guarantee sufficient treatment of rare diseases, and it doesn't ensure that our right to protect our health. What didn't make sense to me was that they are preparing this draft in 2024 and it will reach the parliament in 2025. I don't know who's guilty here, whether the fact that we are small or is it Kaja Kallas or the opposition. But I think we have dozens of examples where even more complicated drafts have been proceeded more quickly. We can always say that the state and the government do things as they can, but in this case, we can't see the young person like Alexander behind the state budget. In this way, we can't help people like Alexander. They can't live their dreams. In order for us to be able to help them, we would like for the government to keep their promises when they amend the Health Insurance Act. And we hope that this will happen as quickly as possible. Thank you, Allar Jõks. Please, can you stay here for a moment? I know that Karmen Joller had a comment from there. And if you have any questions, then please raise your hand. Thank you. I would like to comment one claim and something that I deal with. The COVID vaccines got a provisional marketing authorization not because there would have been insufficient clinical trials, but during the COVID pandemic, we had to get the vaccines on the market as soon as possible, and we expedited the bureaucratic procedures. The data that the vaccine manufacturer had to submit had to do with guaranteeing security with when the volumes increased and so on. So actually, these conditional marketing authorizations are often given to orphan drugs and also oncological drugs. But this doesn't mean that the drug would be dangerous or understudied in any way. This only means that the Agency of Medicines, be it the European or the Estonian one, understands that this is a necessary medicine, and the data that's not relevant from the perspective of patients' health can be submitted later. So the conditional marketing authorization doesn't refer to the clinical quality of a drug, because I know that there's a certain set of people who have spoken about this a lot. So this is just a comment I wanted to make. When drug has a conditional marketing authorization, it's still clinically proven. Yes, I take it as a compliment because my point was that when we could fund vaccines with conditional marketing authorization, we should do the same with orphan drugs. Okay, it seems there are no other questions. A round of applause.